All right, Maddie, we are back with another week of the Ask Maddie show, and I'm very excited for the show. We're going to be talking about Vechain, maybe a little charting action as you guys are curious, maybe looking like it's about to break out right here, Matt. We're also going to be talking about our regret with altcoins, Bitcoin betting odds. Can Bitcoin go down to 50K if Bitcoin was to go reach a new all-time high of 250K? And why you should care about our altcoin picks, all here on the Ask Maddie show. Maddie, how are you feeling?
I was at EDC last weekend, so still moving a little bit slow, but I'm excited to be back in the swing of things. Love to see the markets looking the way they're looking. Seen this nice Ethereum breakout recently over the weekend as well. So excited to be here, excited to answer your guys' questions today.
Team, we're going to get all into it. You might have noticed that we didn't have an after-hours show this week, and that's just because, getting back, we needed a little break here. Maddie was getting back from Vegas. I was, going through it this week. So we will be back with after-hours next week on Monday at 7 p.m. So make sure you subscribe here and don't miss that. Before we get into your guys' questions and topics, become a Crypto Charge member. We've been seeing a flood of you guys jump in as the time calls for it. We see Bitcoin back up, altcoins flying today, some altcoins flying today. So make sure you become a part of the community so you can ask your questions, take advantage of the tools on the website and daily shows. You don't want to be missing out on that, team. So make sure you do that in the pinned link down below in the comment section. But now, Maddie, let's get into these wild questions today. I was sharing with some of them before the show, and I was just like, some of these people want blood sometimes. Like some of these, like this guy, one of these guys here has been at our heads for about a year. And Maddie, I was just telling you before the show, it's like, at what point do you think like these guys will back off? Is like, what do they need to see in some of these altcoins for them to just step away and to never like comment some of this nasty stuff that these people like to comment that come back over and over again, Maddie? And we've seen, the hate in the past, but, I really truly believe like with time, like they're going to be proven wrong. Like we're still so early in this cycle, and I'm not just going to ramble. Let's just get into it right now, Maddie. I'm sorry. Henny Me says, is Vechain still a good buy?
Yes, I absolutely believe that Vechain is a great buy, and I'd actually like it if we could just take a look at the charts to illustrate that better as a team here. Looking here at Vechain, we have one of my favorite set of structures that we're looking at here. And one of the things that you hear me iterate all the time here on stream, and especially on the Crypto Charge live show on a regular basis, is rebalancing, making a series of higher highs and higher lows, and seeing corrections that are meaningful enough that we can say, okay, this market is relatively rebalanced. We can now look for another leg higher. A lot of people think that, when charts just move up, up, and up, that's the healthier uptrend. That's the strongest asset out there. But the reality is assets that continue to make series of higher highs and higher lows are actually the healthier trend, right? The phrase that people use all the time is the slow trend is the true trend. Now, it's not to say that you can't make some great money on some quick swing trades, and some assets will do a 2x in a single day, and that's fantastic, right? I absolutely would love to see it, and we have seen it with some of our own assets. But when you do get these larger corrections, they're generally better signs of long-term growth for an asset. So first of all, if we peel out here, we can see that we had a very nice bottom that came in here on Vechain. Zoom out a little bit more. Very nice accumulative bottom. And again, team, this was not a fast recovery, right? We ended up making this accumulative bottom before breaking out for about 641 days before seeing a breach here in February. So there's lots of late bloomers in the cycle. It's not just Casper. It's not just this, that, and the other. Lots of late bloomers. Being in accumulation for 600, 700, 800 days seems to be kind of the norm for a lot of these assets. We've seen assets sometimes in previous cycles in accumulation for 12 to 1300 days. That's not fun, but it is the reality of the matter sometimes, okay? So big accumulative base that was formed in here, looks nice. Big top that was formed in here, big breakout. And now we're flagging into here, right? And that's really what I always want to see when you have a big break of these accumulative structures. We're in the same range for 700, 800 days. We don't ever do a back test. That becomes an area of concern for me. So when you have the first test, pull back, breakout, and then the flagging structure into here, that sets us up for a very nice run potentially. Now, the other thing that I've looked at on Vechain here is we've seen these illiquidity wicks time and time again, especially when they're not egregiously far away, right? For example, on Casper, we have a $30 and a $60 wick on some exchanges. I'm not even targeting those, right? I'd be happy with a $2, $3 Casper, and I think that would be a really fantastic, best case scenario for Casper for this cycle. I think that's fantastic looking at a sub 3 cent Casper right now. But when we look at Vechain, that already has had price history, right? Already went through a previous cycle. We have an illiquidity wick here at $1. In the 2021 cycle, we reached right around 25, 26 cents, right? So we filled about 25% of that wick. I don't think it's unreasonable that we go back and we fill that wick at some point in the future. So we have the recipe for it here. When you guys look at also kind of where we've pulled back into previously in this last cycle, grab the bottom of this as well. Look at that retest in here. So you had all of this consolidation here from 2019 all the way through 2020. Again, same situation here. Breakout, back test, move higher. As we collapse back down, that new accumulative base is found where, guys? It's found on top of all of this price action in here, right? Same story over here. So Vechain looks very rebalanced. It looks very good. The fundamentals are strong, great for logistics, great for tracking. There's already lots of use cases on the network right here and now. Now, if I were to even go from and take some of these things off our screen and grab our Fibonacci and go from the swing high to swing low in here, that 236 is all the way up here at 7.5 cents. So even from current market, just to clear out some of this imbalance here is about a 2x opportunity here on Vechain. When we look at the 4.236 off of this last crashing structure, puts us around $1.12, anywhere between 43 cents and $1.12. Kind of putting us towards the top of that wick here. So there's a lot of confluence, right? It's not me just saying, hey, that wick up there is going to get filled. There's a lot of rebalancing. There's a lot of strong structures in here. There's a long series of higher highs and higher lows. So again, a lot of people like to look at the daily chart or even, the Coinbase chart and they go, well, this is how it's performing. But look, right? Low, high, higher low, and now we will set a new high. And guess what? What happens next cycle, guys? You will set a new higher low. Prices do pull back. It's a very normal and healthy thing. So I personally think this looks great. Last thing I'm going to show you is this looks a lot like Ethereum did most recently in its latest correction. So you look at, oops, let's go and get rid of that there. Look at this chart here, big set of impulses. You get this big corrective structure in here, and then look at that nice big break. And it seems to come out of nowhere, reclaiming the 50-day, reclaiming the 100-day moving average, and now everyone feels a lot better about how Ethereum looks. So when you kind of just look at these compression structures, when you start to see those compression structures starting to get tight, that's when you kind of want to place your chips on the board, because those are the moments where we're most likely going to see breakouts.
Good risk reward there, Maddie. I'm very excited in the coming weeks to see what Vechain does there. Wants and Needs 99 says, do you ever regret buying the assets you have bought?
Sure. I mean, I think anyone who says they've never made a bad investing decision is an absolute liar. You're a dirty liar. You really are. I think that probably my worst play from last cycle was Moon River. It was a newer coin. It launched. There was a compression structure forming. It was up in the $700 range. I was looking to make a swing trade on it. Ended up holding on to it much longer than I should have. Kind of just let it continue to collapse. Finally took my L, moved on, dumped into some other stuff. But we all make those mistakes. It's okay that we don't always make the right investing decisions, but it's more important that we learn from those mistakes and we don't make those mistakes moving forward, right? One of my big things in the 2018 cycle that I wish I had done differently was to take more profits, right? I wish I had been less greedy. I wish I had not, been playing with fire at the top of the market and just fueling into the euphoria of it all. I've taken a lot of those lessons into the next cycle. So, when you guys see me kind of doubling, tripling down on some of my big fundamental picks, it's because I have made some of those mistakes before. And I don't chase the new shiny thing. I don't chase big green candles. I do deep fundamental research. I do a lot of technical analysis on everything that I do on both macro and micro levels, and then I continue to add to those. So yes, of course, I've made mistakes that I wish I hadn't, but I've learned from them, and it makes me a better investor for them.
Jeremy Hat 3 says, what are the odds my Bitcoin triples from here? So sounding like he bought Bitcoin right now at this price.
Well, everyone else's Bitcoin is going to triple. I don't know about your Bitcoin. No, I'm just teasing there. What are we trading at with Bitcoin right now, right? Like we're trading at like 70K or so. It really just depends. I think that when we look at some of the fibs, what do we get for a 3x out of here? You need like a 280, 260K Bitcoin. I'm looking for maybe 2 to 250K Bitcoin. You guys have to remember though, that when we look at these cycles, we have seen smaller returns each cycle. It still outpaces, the stock market and everything else. But you look at the swing high, swing low in here, right? We are looking at top of range at 206 to 238. So could your Bitcoin do a 2-3x from here? Yeah, sure, it could. Is it the most asymmetric opportunity? Definitely not. The most asymmetric opportunity for Bitcoin was sub 20K. That was definitely the place to buy it. I wasn't buying Bitcoin down there, but if my team ever asked, hey, what should I be buying here? Obviously, I'd show them still the other asymmetric opportunities, but I'd be like, hey, you're mitigating most of your risk. We've already down minus 60, 70, 80%. This is the place to do that. that as we've gotten to these areas, my team asks, is now a good time to buy Bitcoin? No, it's not. If you ask me, hey, XRP is at $2.85 right now, is this the best buy? No, it's not, right? Like, and that just we have to be objective about that. So can it do a 2-3x from here? Yeah, sure, it definitely can. But you also have to consider how much money has to pour into this market for Bitcoin to be worth more than that, right? Like, if a lot of people start to just throw out numbers, $500,000, $1 million, $750K. Guys, that's a lot of money, right? There's a lot of money has to pour in the market for that to happen in one cycle. I'm not saying it can't get there ever, but it takes time for these markets to develop. We don't even have crypto regulation yet, right? Like we're still very, very early in this process. So I try not to get my head too stuck in the clouds. Again, big mistake, make it in my early days of crypto, of getting my head stuck in the clouds, the overnight price predictions, right? And you start to make emotional decisions because of that. I've learned to pull back my expectations, expect the worst case scenario, be happy with the worst case scenario, and be overly excited about anything beyond that that's provided by the markets.
I like that, Maddie. And this guy, Jeremy, like, no offense, Jeremy, but you're going to fail with like this sentence right here. Like, I feel bad. Like, what are the odds of my Bitcoin tripling from here? Like, Maddie, if you go in with like, if you said something a while ago, and it's always stuck in my head. It's like you said something along the lines of like, I wish like Coinbase made it like mandatory for people to input what price they're looking to sell, like a price target when they buy an asset. And the thought process there is like you planning your exit strategy, like you planning like how you're going to get out of this asset at what prices. And it's like if you're buying at these prices, I think we've been pretty consistent here, Matt, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but if you're buying Bitcoin at this moment, you must expect, or you must go in with the mindset that you are going to swing trade this bag. You're going to swing trade this for a 2 or 3x like Maddie was just showing right there. You must go in with that mindset. You must not go in with like a bear market mentality where you're DCAing, and your DCAing is like, as price is moving up, like your DCA is catching up, and then you're going to sell for maybe you'd catch a 2x if you're still DCAing all the way up. But it's like, if you're going with this mindset, you really need to rethink the position you're in, right, Matt? Or am I tripping here?
No, I absolutely agree with that. The main point you got there was creating a plan before you enter, right? If you guys are shopping for a new car, do you just go to the dealership and you just jump in the first car you see and you buy it? No, you're probably going to look around online for a little bit. You're going to compare, cars. You're going to probably watch some videos and, watch some reviews, and then you're going to go kind of see which dealerships have the cars you're looking for at the best prices. You're going to test drive a few of them. And then after you kind of do that, and then you run the numbers, then you make a decision, right? So let's treat our money with investing the same way we would with, investing in the vehicle that we're going to be driving, or investing in the home we're going to be buying, right? We do the same thing when we're buying a home. We do a lot of research. We research the areas that they're in. If we have kids, we want to look at the schools in the area. We want to see what the general appreciation of homes has been in the area. What does rental look like in the area? We always want to consider all these factors. So let's not be lazy with our investing. Let's treat our dollars with the same sense of diligence we do with other big purchases in our life.
All right, Maddie, it's time for the hate. And I just want to say something before I read this comment right here. Like, some of you guys that come at us consistently, like I'm not one to respond to them if you guys are just sending nasty hate. When like this question or this comment here saying you're unhinged, like I'm not going to respond to that. But I do want to when you guys the internet is forever, and so you guys will make a lot of mistakes and you guys will say outrageous things. And I'm just going to read this right here, Matt. And today might be a chart heavy day on the show right now, but I do want you to go to the charts for this, because this is just crazy, and like data completely invalidates your comment here. Rico Haynes 1980 says you're unhinged, talking about Bitcoin here. 250K down to 50K on what planet? Maybe your incredible call on Casper will show another 70% correction, but Bitcoin, you're high.
Well, first of all, you can't hurt my feelings. You just can't. I've sold Kirby vacuums and ADT door to door. I promise you, you can't say anything to me that will even scratch the surface of my feelings, bro. So yeah, you can think I'm unhinged. It's perfectly fine. I promise that I do not give a shit. This is one of the big things that comes up when you call for a correction, or when we suggest that a market top might come in. First of all, I think 250K is a very generous price target. I don't think that makes me a crypto bear. When you look at Bitcoin bottoming out last cycle at 15K and going up to potentially 200 and 250K, that's an enormous move, guys. All right. Like, get your heads on straight. That's an enormous move. Stop being these greedy goblins that doesn't appreciate what's in front of you, right? Like, the market, especially with some of these larger caps, the return does get smaller each time. One of the things that we've looked at in previous cycles is the size of the correction, right? And everyone wants to know, where's that bottom going to come in? You're not going to catch it, right? But what can we do? We can look at statistically, what does the average drawdown or the average downside look like in each bear market? So far with Bitcoin, if we actually look at the chart here really quickly, we'll look first of all at the 2018 top that came in, and we'll look at this cycle here. So we came in for roughly a $20,000 top. And then you see the bottom here right around, $3,000. So minus 84% in that 2020 cycle. Now, in this case, what we had seen is not a lot of price history. We'd obviously have more price history than this in Bitcoin, but a lot of it's very illiquid. We don't really look at it as, as important as the more price history we've had now, because we have a lot of exchange listings. It's a vastly different market than we had previously. Because if you guys don't remember the early days of Bitcoin, if you've never bought anything on the dark web before, if you've never seen Silk Road, you probably didn't even know what Bitcoin was. And when you wanted to buy Bitcoin, it wasn't on a fancy exchange. You linked up your PayPal account. You went to this very ugly looking Web2 website, and you had to buy and sell there. It wasn't this highly liquid market we have now. Imagine a DEX, but even shittier. Okay, that's basically what Bitcoin markets look like back in 2009, 2010. So I want you guys to understand that the liquidity and the market structures we have that are vastly different now. So when you see this big ascension up, you see minus 84%, and then we get this next pump into the 2021 cycle. You know what everyone was telling me in 2021? Bitcoin has never gone below its previous all-time high, so it never ever will. Boy, were you guys disgustingly wrong, right? Where do we come to? $15,000. And you know what the problem is? You guys don't understand how the charts work. You don't understand that market makers have blocks of orders on this chart, and they will navigate and entice traders to pull price down in the area. Yes, we had lots of black swan events. Yes, we had lots of macro pressures that created a very bearish market. But when you look at where price kind of settled into, it's still basically settled into the previous all-time high. Just because it didn't stop at the penny that the very top came in, this whole cluster of price action here should have been resatiated, and it was. Look at where we came in here, right? So boom, look at that. That's still a retest of that previous all-time high. So first of all, stop with these anecdotal, hey, we've had a market for less than 10 years and we're going to say that this is the end all be all of what's going to happen. Now, big top comes in, right? So first of all, from 2018 low, $3,000 up to that next high is about a 20x, 21x reward. Not a bad reward. Everyone tells you it's not going to go lower. Boom, minus 77%. And again, different set of circumstances here. So in 2018, there wasn't even this enormous pressure from the Fed or anything. You just had a nasty bear market after an overinflated market, rebalancing here. So what are we calling for here, right? Let's go ahead and talk about our example. So swing high, swing low. We're going to estimate a top around 208 to 241. So let's say from about 241, 250 is what I was calling for. And let's say we came down into the 50K region here, right? And that would put us right around, minus 78% or so, minus 80%. It's on par with the previous corrections we've had. If you look at where we be pulling down into, you'd be basically pulling down into where these previous tops were. Everything doesn't have to be so binary, guys, okay? I just want you to see that it's more about structural rebalancing. Accumulation, markup, distribution, mark down, reaccumulation, mark up. That's the way that markets go. And they won't happen in a straight line. There's going to be lots of microstructures that happen in the middle, sideways action, all kinds of, market manipulation. But when you zoom out to daily and weekly charts, you can see this rebalancing happening over long periods of time. So yes, would it hurt and suck that, you buy Bitcoin and it goes up to 240, 250, and then it comes back down to 50? Yes. But if you also are a long-term holder, which is what I talk about consistently with holding on to 20 to 30% of my bags and rebuilding those bags by selling at the, towards the top and reaccumulating at the bottom, you are now making higher lows, right? So let's say in the previous cycle, you bought Bitcoin in the bear market between $15,000 and $25,000. The new higher low coming in at $50,000, you were up 2x on your long-term portfolio that you did not pay a dime in taxes on because you're still holding it, right? And you're still building that position. So you guys need to change your mindset a little bit here, right? Yes, of course, we want to focus on the cycle. We want to extract profits. We want to, be cycle traders. But we also, when we know that we have good quality assets, continue to build those bags for higher highs and higher lows. Same thing with XRP right now, trading at 50 cents. You get a new higher low at $1.25. That's still absolutely fantastic, right? You're up over 2x on that bag long term. And eventually that higher low would be big enough where you're borrowing against it and your cost basis is so low that you're able to continue to hold that loan out, put it into other cash flowing properties, etc. I want you guys to see the bigger picture here. It's not all about what can I get today for today. It's about what can I build for the future, generational wealth. That's what we want to be building here, guys.
Benny the Jet says, why should we care about these cryptos in reference to the altcoin picks, Maddie? Why?
I mean, you don't have to care. I don't care if you care. I really have tried to craft a relatively condensed portfolio. I've tried it both ways, right? I've tried having a very large portfolio. I've tried having a hyper concentrated portfolio, and neither of them works super well. So I've really tried to focus on, like 8 to 10 like high quality assets. I have like some smaller swing trades that I'm running right now as well in parallel to those to, get some other exposure that can be rotated either back into the long-term holds or be rotated into other swing trade opportunities. Again, I don't really care where it comes from. I'm just looking for those, setups that offer the best risk to reward opportunity. For example, Casper, I think is probably one of the best L1s around right now. I think that it's been a negative community over the last several months because of price action, which is always
community,
sad to me.
right, Matt? Community.
Right, community in heavy air quotes, because community really comes and goes based on price action. They don't come and go based on the fundamentals of a project, which is unfortunate. I guess the exceptions would be the Bitcoin and Ethereum maxis, because they see them as the larger caps out there and they think of them as guaranteed winners, so they don't really care, and they see so many applications being built on it. But the people who really made a lot of money, right? The people who made a lot of money in Bitcoin and Ethereum, they were the ones buying Ethereum at $8 or $9. They were the ones buying Bitcoin at a few $100s, right? They were the people who saw the vision for what was to come well before it came to fruition, and those are the people that make money, right? Most of the assets that you guys see out there that everyone talks about being up this much or that much, and people getting into them and they go, well, this is up that much. Most of them didn't get in at the bottom, right? They didn't buy the bottom of the accumulation structure. Most of them spot in after the 2, 3, 4x candles started kicking in, and your risk to reward goes down absolutely significantly from there, right? You buy Casper at even 10 cents, which is still a good deal in the grand scheme, right? If we're looking at $1.30, $2, $2.30, right? Your reward is 4 or 5x less than getting into Casper right now. So I'm never afraid to buy the bottom of accumulation structures. I'm absolutely afraid to buy the top of impulses, right? If I see a 2, 3x impulse, I'm afraid, right? Like I might take some chips off the table. I did that with API 3. There was a lot of my team when we're in that $3, $4 range, and but it might go a little bit higher. You'd be like, yeah, it might. I'm still selling 20% here, guys. Great decision. Phenomenal decision. You know why, guys? I accumulated sub $1 so heavy. I kept telling my team, sub $1, 80 cent region, double, triple your DCA, guys. Like whatever you got to do, this is the time to bolster the API 3 position. Back above $1, back off. Stop pouring money into the market, right? And that type of strategy pays off when you are able to remove your emotions from the market, and you're able to be a lot more objective. So with some of these picks, I know that some of you guys might not resonate with them, and that's okay. There's a reason that there's a lot of different, opportunities in the market out there. My opportunities might not align with your opportunities, and that is okay. That doesn't mean you picked a bad opportunity. There are probably hundreds of opportunities out there that will breed you guys great profits that I don't talk about. I can't be involved in every single opportunity out there, and I can't research every single opportunity out there. So should you care about my picks? I think, yeah, I have a lot of great picks out there, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do your own research and find additional things you want to add to your portfolio, or maybe even, challenge some of the things that we've looked at here and say, hey, well, is this really the most competitive model? Those are good critical thinking questions to ask yourselves, guys. All right. So don't feel like you have to take my picks, but I think that all the picks that I have, taken into consideration here have good, strong fundamentals and technical setups.
Team, we're so out of time. Make sure you like this video. Maddie, you went ham this show, and I'm glad we covered some of these topics here. Team, make sure you save this video in a playlist on your YouTube account so that you can come back to this and look at that Bitcoin structure and see how wrong you guys were. When you guys get to these moments it can't do this. Guys, we are in such an early asset class that even when looking at these historical data, we can't just look at that data and be like, oh, this is what's going to happen. Just time and time and again, we talked about, the Bitcoin halving and Bitcoin breaching it a new all-time before the halving. And that was a big moment for me. When Maddie really hammered that into my head, I was like, this asset class is still so young that we can't even, we're still not in a position where we have data, historical data like this, that's happened every single cycle. And then we get to this new cycle where something completely different happens. Team, this is why you need to buy an accumulation, and if you're just reaching us right now, you need to be more strategic than ever, and that's why you need to be in a community. We are out of time. Maddie, anything to leave the team with here?
Yeah, guys, come on. Get in the Discord here. Get on our platform. You get 30 days free with code YouTube. We go live Monday through Friday. We are constantly supporting you guys in the Discord. Anyone who does come and ask for help gets exactly the help they're looking for. We either will answer your question or point you guys to the resources you're looking for. That comes out to $50 a month with the code YouTube, or $4.99 for the year with code YouTube. Both of those come with a 30-day free trial. You guys decide day 29. Hey, appreciate you guys are not for me. You're not hurting my feelings. Just shoot me an email. We'll go ahead and get you guys canceled. But I know that you guys will enjoy our program. And I think that you guys will get a lot out of it if you're willing to put the work in.
If you're willing to put the work in. Key words right there, team. Take that to heart. Join the community. But we will see you for After Hours next week, team. So we'll see you next week. Bye.